Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is your Week 8 rundown. I can't believe it's Week 8 already. This is the RD FFL. I just want to bang on the drum all day. This has been stuck in my head since Lambeau Field because Aaron Rodgers, I still can't believe he tore it up. That was last week. It's more touchdowns than I've seen a Jets quarterback throw probably all season, so there's that. Anyways, let's hop into things here with our Week 8 rundown, starting with McDermott's Hermits, shellacking New Big Poo Big. That's right, folks. I got my tail handed to me. Doesn't help when you've got, two 20-point starters sitting on the bench. So, yeah. Larry Fitz, thanks for your 1 point. Zach Ertz, you've been nothing but a disappointment all season. Tough week. What can you do? Back to the drawing boards. I'm 4-4. McDermott's Hermits, you did it. Tevin Coleman, James Conner, Nick Chubb, Jags D, Chaim Farbarn. And this is all without Devontae Adams. And with Jamal Williams is 17.5 on the bench. So I got killed. And McDermott's Hermits is 6-2 for a reason. Moving on. Let's see. We've got Frank and Mary's Diner. Also whooping some tail over Cemetery Slayers. Eddie, you moved to 4-4. That drops Dave to 4-4. Danny Dimes puts up 24.5. Cooper Kupp just went absolutely apeshit. 172 is a bunch of points. And Frank and Mary's Diner still waiting for AJ Green to come back from his vaginitis, sitting on the bench. Dave, you failed to crack 100, 88.5. Not a good look for you. Probably not great when you're starting Kenny Stills. That sucks. So, yeah. I mean, you lost Josh Gordon. So, Dave, you lost. Eddie, you won. Nice job. Moving on. It was probably, I think this was our closest game of the week, and another reason why Steve was very quiet in the group chat. 172.3 to 170.5, questionable decision makings. I also believe this was our matchup of the week, and I called this upset, but I don't know. Doesn't really matter at this point. Questionable decision making, big win. You moved to 5-3. You dropped Steve-O to 5-3. Questionable decision making takes a first place lead in the Core Union division. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Powered by David Montgomery's 30.3, Christian McCaffrey's 31.3. I mean, your two running backs almost outscored Dave's entire team. This was really close. Aaron Jones, again, a 40-dimer, a 40 bag for Steve-O. Wasn't enough. Kyler Murray, 7.5 ain't going to help you out. 1.8 from an injured Chase Edmonds, also not helpful. Looks like you probably should have started Melvin Gordon or Jameis Winston. And Steve, things might have been a little different for you, but that's neither here nor there. At this point, both teams here, 5-3. Moving on up. Tyler, close game here. Tyler did everything he could to pull off a big upset, but Eli Mouthbreeze drops to 2-6, and it's looking like another year of missed playoffs for the Giants and for Eli Mouthbreeze. Big win for Tariq Hill's Child Care, getting back on track here, moves to 5-3. 147 to 143 was the final 4-point spread. Ty, usually 143 should be enough in this league. You just kind of ran into a buzzsaw here, 147. Close game. Really consistent scoring on Kaplan's side, minus Greg Olson and Ty Johnson. Kind of roll of the dice there with Ty Johnson. Probably would have been nice to have Mark Ingram's 37.5 out there, but you didn't start him. Over on Tyler's side of the ball, probably could have used a little bit more from Allen Robinson and the Rams defense. They only let up 10 points, but they really didn't force any turnovers or get any sacks, so could have used a little bit more there. And then Aldrich Rosas, the Giants Pro Bowl kicker, only put up 2 points. So what could have been for Tyler? Sorry, buddy. And last but not least, it is Team Hannon taking on the Main Street Hood Rats. Team Hannon drops to 2-6. The Main Street Hood Rats ekes out a victory here, 129 to 121.3. Another close game. So we had a bunch of close games. We had 3 close games, 2 blowouts, and a partridge in a pear tree. Alvin Kamara being out really probably put Team Hannon in the grave here, dropping you to 2-6. Needed more from Gerald Everett, needed more from the Panthers defense, needed more from Robert Woods. Other than that, pretty consistent scoring. A tough day over on the quarterback side of the ball for TJ Phelps and the Main Street Hood Rats, starting Kyle Allen and Matt Schaub. Negative 1.5 for Kyle Allen. Still was enough to get you by. You had Calvin Ridley's 11 on the bench there. You had Sam Darnold, although he turned the ball over every fucking time he touched it. He had 10 points. Powered by Latavius Murray's 37.5. So good start there with Latavius Murray. It's funny. So Alvin Kamara hurt on Team Hannon. Latavius Murray, 37.5 points for Main Street Hood Rats was the difference in this one. Let's check out our league standings and power rankings very quickly. In the Corey Union Division, it's questionable decision-making. Billy O'Hare on top by 1 game. We got 2 teams tied for second. That's New Big Pooh Big and Frank and Mary's Diner. At the bottom of the division at 2 and 6, it is Team Hannon and Eli Mouthbreeze. Over on the other side of the ball, in the Hilltop Division, it's McDermott's Hermits alone atop the league at 6 and 2. We've got 2 teams tied at 5 and 3. That's Tariq Hill's Childcare and Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God. Cemetery Slayers in 4th at 4 and 4, and in dead last, it would be the Main Street Hood Rats at 3 and 5. As you can see, it looks as the Hilltop Division is the more the powerful or the stronger division this year, as I believe the Corey Union Division was more of the top dog the last few years. Anywho, power rankings, this is just done by points for Tariq Hill's Childcare, then McDermott's Hermits, Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God, questionable decision making, and New Big Pooh Big round out our top 5. On the bottom 5, it's going to be Frank and Mary's Diner, Team Hannon, Main Street Hood Rats, Eli Mouthbreeds, and then Cemetery Slayers all the way at the bottom. So we have a new bottom feeder there, Cemetery Slayers in our points for. Moving on to our Week 9 matchups, we've got Team Hannon taking on New Big Pooh Big. I need to get back on track. I'm like, you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one, you win one, you lose one. I need to get some consistency. Thank God I'm going up against Team Hannon. Obviously, the projections don't look great right now, but if you look here, 9 yet to play, 9 yet to play, so we'll see what happens during the week. Also, I've got Drew Brees sitting on my bench. Probably should have started him, but I didn't do that. Thought the thumb might have been more of an issue than it actually was. So we've got New Big Pooh Big taking on Team Hannon. Must win for both teams at this point. The playoff push has begun. Next up, it's Cemetery Slayers taking on questionable decision-making. Cemetery Slayers coming off one of their lowest pointage performances of the year, and questionable decision-making coming off of a huge upset over Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God. So this should be an interesting matchup to keep an eye on. Projections real close right now, but that's with 11 in play for Dave and only 10 in play for questionable decision-making. Next up, we've got Eli Mouthbreeze taking on Frank and Mary's Diner. 7 yet to play for Frank and Mary's Diner, so he's got a few buys that he's going to be working with here. Projections, don't even bother looking at him right now. Tyler's got 8 in play, so nothing really to keep your eye on with the projections there. But Frank and Mary's Diner coming off of a huge pointage performance, going up against Eli Mouthbreeze, who put up a decent number of points. I think the number was 143. At 2 and 6, Tyler, you're going to probably have to win out if you're going to make the playoffs. And we've got 2 more games for you here. It's the Main Street Hood Rats going up against Tariq Hill's Childcare. Kaplan's team seems like they've finally gotten back on track after a quick hot start to the season. Main Street Hood Rats with a big win this week was powered by Latavius Murray, and it'll be interesting to see how the Main Street Hood Rats performs with Latavius Murray back in a backup role if Alvin Kamara comes back healthy this week. And that means our matchup of the week is McDermott's Hermits taking on Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God. McDermott's Hermits is our number 1 team at 6 and 2, top overall seed right now, and Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God has been really quiet the last 2 weeks after losing, I believe it's 2 weeks in a row and maybe 3 out of 4. So it's been a pretty quiet month after he was yapping. And once I called him a chihuahua, he kind of, it's like he got his balls chopped off and he got fixed. So it's nice to have a nice, quiet, respectful group chat. So hopefully McDermott's Hermits takes care of business once again and does what all good teams do. They pick on the bottom feeders. That would be the Dr. Momberg Phys Ed God. Anywho, that's all I got for you guys this week. I'm exhausted. I feel sick. I think I'm going to go take a nap and go to bed. Good night.